I'm sure we've all heard of metal legends such as Led Zeppelin or Ozzy Osbourne, but there's a hidden legend of the mid-1980s to late 90s that a surprising amount of metalheads don't know. A lot of well-known black metal comes from areas like Europe or the USA, but there's a huge metal scene in Brazil that tends to go undiscovered. Sarcofago was a first-wave black metal band formed in 1985, paving the way for most second-wave black metal as we know it and inspiring future bands to come. They often incorporated speed and thrash into many of their music while also incorporating black metal with anti-Christian themes. Before Sarcofago, Wagner Antichrist, or Wagner Lemonnier, was the lead singer of Sepultura, and while playing a local show, a record store, later turned record label, Cogumelo Records, discovered Sepultura. They shortly signed and released a split with Overdose called Bestial Devastation / Seculo XX. However, at the time of release, Wagner had already quit Sepultura to join Sarcofago with Zeter Butcher on guitar, Geraldo Incubus on bass, and DD Crazy on drums. Despite this, the earlier mentioned split had featured Wagner's pseudonym Antichrist without his permission, starting the long-standing rivalry between bands. Sarcofago participated in the 1985 Metal BH2 Festival in Belo Horizonte with Chacal, Sagrado Inferno, Armageddon, and Minitoro. Then in February of 1986, they released their first official demo, Satanic Lust. Because of their earlier success of Bestial Devastation / Seculo XX, Cogumelo Records planned to create a 4-band split. Warfare Noise featured Chacal, Mutilator, Sarcofago, and Holocausto, releasing November of 1986. One of the founders, João Eduardo de Faria Filho, offered to release an album from every band featured. Sarcofago shortly released I.N.R.I and Christ's Death in August of 1987, with the overt anti-Christian lyrics sparking minor outrage but ultimately blowing over. After Christ's death, the then teenage band had been moved apart by their parents to distance them from alcohol and the metal scene at the time. Despite this, the band reunited after a 2-year hiatus with a member change. New drummer Manu Joker replaced DD Crazy after he had left to join the band Sex Trash. Sarcofago shortly released Rehearsals 89 in 1989 and started their new musical journey. Sarcofago released their first international EP, Rotting, in August of 1989. This EP was almost immediately censored by the label, Maze Records, due to the album art which depicted death making out with Jesus Christ. The album cover was blacked out with a sticker that stated featuring the original lead singer of Sepultura. This obviously pissed off not only Sepultura, Sarcofago, as the record label had made these changes without the band's permission. Sarcofago, quickly suing the North American record label as the sticker had made it seem like Wagner was still associated with Sepultura. Several copies of Rotting were also seized by European authorities for being, quote, religiously offensive due to blasphemy and obscenity laws at the time. Distributors carrying the imported Brazilian records were frequently targeted to prevent release into retail shelves. Thankfully, the band was not completely banned in Europe and later visited while on tour. Sarcofago had been feuding with several bands for years at this point, with João Gordo from Ratos de Porão openly mocking the attire and music of Sarcofago while taunting the members themselves. The tensions reached a breaking point at one of 3 Brazilian concerts hosted by Dirty Rotten Imbeciles. Despite tensions between bands, promoters hired Sarcofago to open for I.N.R.I. After the show had ended, members of Ratos de Porão and Corzas forced their way backstage, attacking a drunken Wagner, leading to an all-out brawl. Despite attempts to de-escalate, a crew member of I.N.R.I. ended up walking away with a broken arm. Regardless of the controversies, Sarcofago went on to release The Laws of Scourge and go on tour, visiting Peru, Chile, Portugal, Spain, and Europe while releasing Crush, Kill, Destroy in 1992. Unfortunately, Wagner and a drunken haze got stranded at an airport in Lima, Peru, forcing their guitarist at the time, Fabio Jasco, to take over on vocals. This prompted yet another lineup change between Sarcofago members. Shortly after this, they released their third studio album, Hate, which was not well received from fans due to their use of a drum machine, then releasing The Worst and Crust before the band's breakup in the year 2000. Now, Sarcofago over the years had been in and out of controversy, from being censored by the European government, physically fighting with other bands, and their anti-Christian themes. Despite this, Sarcofago managed to last nearly 15 years and 45 to 50 unique studio tracks across their discography. Sarcofago inspired much of second wave black metal with their appearance and music that still inspires many Brazilian black and thrash metal bands to this day.